I'm Tony Morris, and welcome to the latest episode of Southern Soul. Let's talk about the title. Southern is because I was born in LA, Lower Alabama. Enterprise, Alabama to be exact. And my hometown's claim to fame is that it has the Boll Weevil Monument. Right smack dab middle of Main Street is the Boll Weevil Monument, a lady holding a bug on top of her head. Now some of you may be wondering, what in the world is that all about? Well, let me tell you. The boll weevil came up from Mexico around the turn of the century and destroyed the cotton crop. And it forced the farmers to diversify to other products like peanuts and soybeans. And as a result, they made more money. They became more prosperous. So I'm really proud of my hometown and my ancestors for taking something bad and turning it into something good. Now the soul part of Southern Soul is because I'm a psychic. Now I haven't always been a professional psychic. For 27 years I was in corporate America. But time does have a way of changing things. And that includes career choices. So when the time came for me to make a major shift in my life, I embraced it. And I'm sure I'm not alone. I'm sure people out there who are watching this show right now have had similar types of experiences as well. So I'm glad you're joining us for this latest episode of Southern Soul. We've got lots to talk about. I love it when viewers send in questions. So let's take a few of those questions that have been coming in over the past few weeks. Okay, first one. Has anyone ever called you a fake? Well, I've been called a flake before, and usually that's by close friends who are kind of, jabbing at me for either being silly or acting a fool. But I can't recall anyone calling me a fake as it relates to what I do as a psychic medium. And I'd like to believe, and I truly do believe this, that the reason why is I believe what I do has a purpose. And that purpose is to help people get the most out of their lives by providing them with some psychic, spiritual insights that will help move them along. Now that's not to say that I haven't had clients who are skeptical, because after all, sometimes this could be new territory for some people. But at the end of the consultations, my clients do walk away with a greater sense of enlightenment, confidence, that will help guide them when it comes to making choices, taking actions, and most importantly, moving their life forward. Okay, second question. Can you shut down your psychic abilities and relax? Well, when I'm with clients, I love having my energy, my psychic energy and my medium energies turned up as high as they can go, because I really love what I do, and it's all about helping people. It's kind of like I'm the middleman. I'm allowing spirit to come through me to provide guidance for people. But I'm like most people as well. Whenever I'm away from work, I do like to turn it off. So whether you're a plumber, a teacher, a dentist, when you're away from your office or your work environment, you do want to relax. Now that's not to say like in social settings, like, if you're around friends or, new acquaintances and people start talking about, oh, what do you do? And I mentioned I'm a psychic, and people sometimes have questions because they're interested in what I do. And so that's just kind of polite chit-chat conversation, and I'm all for that because I ask people questions about their jobs as well. Occasionally, somebody will follow it up with, well, tell me something about myself, meaning they want me to kind of give something about a psychic reference or whatever. And when that happens, and it does happen occasionally, I just say, you know what, thank you so much for your interest, but right now my spiritual radar isn't 100% on. Usually they get it. So let's take that third question. How can I tap into my own intuition? I love that question, because it really informs us all that yes, we all have the ability to tap into our intuition. I don't care who you are. And the first thing is to be open to it. Acknowledge it, embrace it, Make it a part of your life. Don't try to hide it or disregard it. It certainly will not serve you any purpose that way. And the other thing that I would encourage people to do is pay attention to those signs and those messages that the universe puts in your path, especially when they relate to something that you want to do, something you want to achieve in your life. They're there for a reason. They are not coincidences. And that's a great segue to the topic that we're going to talk about today: how to tap into your inner voice. And you might be surprised at one of the ways in which you can do that. And we're going to talk, or maybe sing about it, in just a second. Kiss today goodbye, yeah! And point me toward tomorrow. Whoa! Hey, I'm glad you're here. I've got something I want to talk to you about. How many of you, like me, have been guilty of singing in the shower? Hey, I'm not passing judgment. If anything, I'm encouraging it. Because singing in the shower, I don't care if you want to be Aretha Franklin, Bruno Mars, Blake Shelton, Alan Jackson, singing in the shower actually helps you tap into your inner voice. And that's important for a number of reasons. First of all, it actually helps bring to life your creativity, your ability to truly express yourself. Singing in the shower is only one way that you can bring out your inner voice, or your inner soul, your inner personality, and let it shine. Here's a couple of other ways. How many of you find yourself saying things like, well, it really doesn't matter to me, or I don't care? Now, if you say those kinds of phrases too often, too frequently, that's not healthy, because it's important that you have an opinion. Now, what I'm saying is you don't necessarily have to have an opinion to go off and start doing, join the debate club or having an argument with somebody. That's not what I'm saying at all. Having an opinion is more important to you. It helps build your confidence. It helps reassure you that whatever you're thinking helps put you on the right track so you can make progress. So have an opinion. The third thing that I really believe in is acknowledging what it is you want to achieve in life versus keeping it buried. I can't tell you how many times I've had some psychic consultation clients when I've tapped into some insights and I'll tell them something and they're like, oh my gosh, I've never told anybody that. For example, it was a couple of weeks ago, I did a session for a Marine, this big Marine guy, and I kept telling him that I see you in front of an audience, like you're on stage, and you're really enjoying it, and you can feel the applause, and I don't know, I was just really very strongly about that. Well, he was quiet for a couple of seconds, and then he finally said, man, I can't believe that. I've always had this dream of wanting to be a stand-up comic. Here's this big Marine who wanted to be a stand-up comic. So once he acknowledged what he wanted to do after I had tapped into that insight, we then discussed next steps to move him along on his laugh track. So there you have it, 3 steps. First of all, acknowledging and embracing that dream, that aspiration that you'd love to do. Another step, having an opinion. It's very valuable. And finally, go and sing in the shower. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to get back to channeling Josh Groban. Until next time, keep singing. Won't forget, can't regret what I did for love. Man, that had to have been the scariest shower scene since Psycho. But I'm really glad you stuck around for it. It makes me feel good. This is my favorite part of the show. It's what I call the Little Red Wagon segment. And for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, the The little red wagon is a metaphor. It's a metaphor for life. Think about it. When you're a kid, it was probably your first toy. And on the first episode of Southern Soul, what I asked the viewers to do was to identify three things. Three things that you still wanted to accomplish in your life. And put those three things in your dream maker, or your little red wagon. Second show, I asked that the viewers identify an action step. One action step for each of those three things. Put that in the wagon. And those action steps are designed to move your ideas, your dreams along in a positive way. The third episode was having the right mindset. I mean, what good is it if you have the dreams and you've identified the action steps, but you approach it with, this will never happen to me. You have to approach it with, wow, look at these possibilities. So that brings us up to this episode, and you're probably asking yourself, well, what's he going to talk about this time? I've already identified what I want to do. I've already identified the action steps, and I'm doing it with a positive mindset. What else is there? How about giving back? That's right, giving back. Giving back to your community, giving back to your fellow man. Think about it. As you're going through this process, you're already starting to receive positive energy. And it feels good, right? Well, why not share it? Why not share that positive energy with other people? And that can be done in a number of different ways, to include volunteerism. And there's so many ways that you can give back to your community, whether it's volunteering with the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, helping out with the Red Cross blood drive or whatever. Or I know there's a lot of you out there who are animal lovers. So why not go support your animal shelter? Do what you can to help animals in your community. But there's also just your fellow man. You can help them as well. Whether it's taking some elderly person out to run their errands because they don't have a car anymore, reading to the blind, being a mentor for an underprivileged child. I think you get the picture. There's so many ways that you can give back. And I guarantee you, the more you give back, the more you're going to receive in return. That's just how it works. That's how the universe works. It always has, and it always will. So think about it. You've identified what you want to do. You've identified the action steps. You got the right mindset, and now you're giving back. It's a total package, and it's got to make you feel good, and you're going to see results. Thanks so much for joining us on this latest episode of Southern Soul. I'm really glad you took the time to check us out. And be sure and watch us next time. And until then, keep rolling.
Yeah.